thing is association. So you have two classes. What do you mean by association between these two classes? There is a relationship called association, which we represented using a simple line. What is this relationship? The very first factor for this relationship is the objects for these two classes. Say when you have a class, you'll create an object for this. Say this is object 1 for this class. This is an object 2 for this class. The lifetime or the lifespan of these two objects are totally independent of each other. They are totally independent. Say if one of the objects goes out of scope, the other object can still remain in the system. So you call this to be the faculty class and you call this to be the student class. So when I create two objects for, say I create an object for faculty, I create an object for student. When we go with this association is the very first thing is these two objects lifespan is independent of each other. If the student object gets destroyed, it doesn't mean the faculty object should also be destroyed. There is no control like that. This is the meaning. There is no ownership among the objects and life cycle of both the objects are independent of each other. But then there is a relationship. What is that relationship? If I take the faculty, I'll be able to have a relationship of that faculty with the student class. For instance, faculty can view a student's profile. The faculty class is somewhere linked to the student class. Students can also sometimes view the faculty profile, right? So student can also be linked to the faculty class. So there is one simple link between these two classes. So that becomes an association relationship. I have given an example here. Professor views a student profile. That is the scenario. I will show the implementation in Java. Say we have a class professor. I told you what are the two classes now? Professor class, student class. Professor views the profile of student. It's a very simple thing. So I have a professor class here. And this professor class has got a method called view profile. And to view a profile of a student, what I should pass is actually I should pass the student object. Because for this particular student, I want to view the profile. So the professor will enter the student ID. And that will be scanned by the system. If that ID is equal to the object present in the system, object ID, then we will go and get the student info. What is this? S1.getInfo. GetInfo is another method. This method is actually present in the student class. So what is this GetInfo? It gets the information of a particular student. So there is a link between professor and student. What is that link? With respect to this particular relationship, viewing profile, the link is, this is the link. From within the professor, I call a method of the student. And what about the lifetime of these objects, professor and student object, how I create that? Say this is my main class. You see a student object is getting created and a professor object is getting created independently. Two objects. And this object is not controlling this object in any way. So you see here, both these objects lifetime or lifespan is independent of each other. So when you have such a relationship, you call that to be association. And you want still a further detailed explanation of my implementation of this in Java, you can very well visit my lecture. I have coded this, I have shown how to run this, I have explained association again. In UML, how you represent association? You give the class, and then you link it with a simple line. Sometimes there will be a direction associated with this. Suppose only a faculty can view profile of a student. So it's like from faculty we are going to the student. And what is this? We give a relationship name to views profile. So with respect to this relationship, there is a link here. You see, I am just passing the student data in the faculty's method. So that's why there I say there is a link. That's when you establish this relationship. Sometimes there can be one-to-many relationship between two classes. For instance, say I am just giving an example here. One faculty can view the profile of n students. There's one more thing. There can be many association relationship between two classes. For instance, between the faculty and the student, there can be also another association relationship, that is faculty mentor student. It's not just one relationship, faculty mentor student. So that can be a separate set of methods that are handling the mentor's relationship between two classes. Likewise, you can also have a direction like this. You can say student views faculty profile. Sometimes, this is also allowed, right? Views faculty profile. So this is one student can view any number of faculty profiles. So you have to give the cardinality, the multiplicity here, and you also should name the relationship. Just give a name for the relationship. Such a kind of relationship is called association in UML. Modeling association classes. Sometimes the relationship itself can become another class. That is called modeling association classes. You call these classes to be linked classes or less. We call that association classes or linked classes. Have you heard of this thing in ER? I'm just mapping ER to a class diagram here. I'm just doing it intentionally. Have you heard of this MS-10 relationship between two entities? When two entities are having an MS-10 relationship, what happens? How that relationship gets converted? A relationship, you want me to draw that too? Say if two entities, there is an entity here in a relationship with another entity, and the relationship cardinality is MS-10. So what will happen to this relationship? So you convert this to a table, you convert this to a table. When you have MS-10, this will also be a table, right? Something very similar to that, when you have two classes and they participate in a relationship, there will be a need for that relationship itself to be created as a class. These classes are called association classes. For instance, you take students and you take courses. Students, what they do, they register for the courses, right? Because of this registration, one student can register in n courses, one course can have n students. Because of this registration, new fields are getting created. For instance, registration date and time. Registration date and time when a student registers for a particular instance of a course. I will have the registration date and time for all of you in my VTalk, like when this particular student registered in my course. And you also have a class number given. Because one course is being taken by many faculties, so every course will have a unique ID called a class number generated. Okay, for this class number, this group of students will be mapped to this faculty for this course ID. So when you talk about this itself becomes a class with certain attributes: registration, date and time, class number, maybe you can put the student ID, faculty ID teaching the course. So this kind of a class is called linked class. I can give the class name to be registration here. When will this class come into picture? Only when a student registers for a course and there is an MS to N relationship between these two classes. So if you have understood MS to N relationships in your modeling, this should be very simple and straightforward. Is that clear? We'll take a look at the next relationship between two classes, composition. Composition is nothing but a stronger form of association. It is denoted by this particular keyword as a relationship. When I say is a, what is that? Faculty is a person. What is that? Inheritance. Very good. When I say has a between two classes, then it means maybe it is composition or aggregation. The next one that we are going to learn. And here you see, this is a very important thing. When you have two classes and when it has an as a relationship, there is an object for this class, there is an object for this class. Here, the very important condition is, if you call this to be the child object, the lifetime of this object is dependent on the lifetime of this object. If the child object gets destroyed, I mean, if the parent object gets destroyed, automatically the child object should also be destroyed. Will be destroyed. You understood this? Lifespan of the child object is dependent on the lifespan of the parent object. So we'll take a scenario here. Every employee has a dependent. Have you heard of this term dependence in ER modeling? A faculty can add his family members as dependents to the system. For instance, even you will have dependents, I guess. You can say your guardians are dependents on you. Your parent can access the system only when you are a student in this university, right? So every student has a guardian, every faculty has a dependent. So this relationship becomes a type of association. It can be either composition or aggregation. So we'll look at what is composition, how it is represented in UML. Say employee as a dependent. So how it is represented, you use this diamond shape at the end and then you link it like this. That is UML notation. Student as a guardian. I am saying that say, this is the child object and this is the parent object. The lifetime of the child object is dependent on the lifetime of the parent object. I mean, when you destroy the parent object, the child object should be automatically removed from the system. Do you all agree? What is the use of having the parent details without the student in the system? What is the use of having the employee's dependent details without the employee details in the system? If I destroy that employee object, automatically his dependent data is also destroyed. So that becomes a stronger association. So there is a strong bond here. What is the strong bond? If I destroy the parent object, automatically the lifetime of the dependent also will be going out of scope. So that's how they taught me UML in my classes, and I was thinking when the parent dies, student also dies or something like that. I was thinking of natural death. When I say lifespan, I was relating it to natural death for so many years. Because nobody gave me this clear-cut explanation on code level explanation of what these things are. So I'll tell you what this is. For instance, say class B, you can say class faculty here. Dependent, class dependent here. Dependent is also a separate entity in the system. For instance, dependent, say my father is a dependent. So you will have a name, gender, address. So I should enter all this data in the system so that when I claim for medical insurance, I should know who is my father, what his details are. So father is a dependent. So faculty is the class, and how will you create this particular object? It's given like this. Say father, and then I can give the name of my father. So this becomes an object. One class is containing the object of another class. So this object is nothing but an object of type A. You would have already done this in your code level, but we have a term here. One object containing another object. So here you take a look at this particular object, it's of type A and it is part of this class. So in such a cases we'll go with as a relationship. Or else how we can say this, B as a relationship with A or B as a dependent. Okay. So that's how we represent this in UML. Class A is dependent on class B. So class B as a dependent, and how you represent that here? You represent it like this. Let me erase all the ink and repeat this again. So class B is containing class A or class B as a class A. So that is the meaning. So if you find something in your code like this, it obviously means composition or aggregation. So I just go and show this implementation for composition. We'll see that. We'll take a look at this and so I have two classes here, employee and dependent, and employee has a dependent. So dependent itself is a class. You can see that here. And what you have here in the dependent, I have dependent name, gender, and some test string I have. These are the attributes of dependent, and I'm also setting the values for the dependent when I'm creating the object using a constructor. And get info, what is this get info will do is it will return the data of the dependent. So dependent itself is a separate class in my system. And we have an employee class. He is a separate class. And what is there with this employee classes? You can see father is a type of dependent. So you have an attribute father which is of type dependent. So is memory getting allocated when I just declare like this? Is memory getting allocated for this particular object father when I declare it like this? When memory gets allocated in Java? Only when you go on with a new operator, right? So when will I go and add the data for this particular employee's father? So how will I go and create the objects? Let's go and start with this thing. So this is my main class. What I'm doing here is first creating employee object. So when I create the employee object, I am also passing the data for his dependent. And this is going to go to the constructor of the employee object. Say you see the constructor gets this, and within the constructor I am creating an object of for father. So within the constructor you go and create this object. So what is that meaning? What does that mean? When the employee object goes out of scope, will the dependent object be there in the system? The dependent object also will automatically go out of scope. So there is a very strong association between how these two objects are related. The first thing that you have to note is there is this particular object holding another object as one of its data members. That is as a relationship. But when you take a look at this, when this particular object employee goes out of scope, automatically this particular father, that is the object that is getting created in the constructor of the employee, will also go out of scope. So such a strong relationship is called composition. You know, if you want to see that how I run that using Eclipse and want to see that in depth, you please visit my lecture video in Java lectures. I have shown this execution of the code in depth and at a very slower pace. Okay, that's all about composition, but you should have a very clear-cut difference between association, composition, and aggregation. What is aggregation? Well, final relationship, that is, aggregation is a weaker form of association. Aggregation is also an as-a relationship, but the condition here is whenever the parent object goes out of scope, the child object can still remain in the system. It is not controlling the lifespan of the child object. So that becomes aggregation. So when you take a look at this particular code too, how can aggregation work for this particular code? I have given an example here. Earlier, how did I create the dependent object? I was creating that inside the constructor for the employee. Now I am creating the dependent object independently. It's not created inside the employee, it is created independently, and that object is passed as an member for the constructor in my employee object. So you see, when you destroy the employee, it doesn't mean that you have to destroy the dependent. But when you take a look at the relationship here, class employee still has that particular member called dependent. So this is the same with respect to composition, but with respect to the lifespan, again these two lifespans are independent. When employee gets destroyed, it doesn't mean dependent goes out of scope. So when you have such a kind of relationship, then you say that is aggregation between classes. Yeah, again for aggregation, I have put up detailed videos explaining how it is implemented in Java with testing and showing how it works. I have shown the UML representations of aggregation and composition here. So with composition, you just go with a shaded circle. So when the vehicle goes out of scope, engine will also go out of scope. Whereas with aggregation, you see that is not shaded, it's a diamond like this. So when the driver object or vehicle object goes out of scope, the other object can still remain in the system. So aggregation, you can think of that. Final relationship is there, that is dependency. With this we'll wind up. There's one more relationship called dependency between two classes. What is this dependency? How it is represented in UML? Say there is a class and this is another class. This class is dependent on this class. This class cannot execute. You cannot implement this class with without this class? Can you think of certain examples here? When you show there is a dependency like this with dotted arrows and with an arrow like this. Can you think of some examples for dependency? Say, you can think of this very simple thing, timetable and registration. Can you generate timetable without registration? No, right? So for this should first happen, for this to happen. Timetable is again another class. Every timetable will have an ID and it will have, you can generate timetable for a student and you have to pass the student object. But when you generate the timetable, what is very important? What should have happened? The student should have registered for the courses, right? So registration itself is another class from which we can go and get the data and we can generate timetable. So timetable cannot be executed if there is no registration info. So you see here, this class is totally dependent on this class for its execution. So that kind of a relationship should be established with this. And they have given other examples too in your textbooks. For instance, you can't go and pay for the tickets before selecting the seats in the movie theater, right? So selection of the seats takes precedence over payment for your things. Likewise, you can't go and pay before adding products in your cart. So there is some dependency between these two scenarios, right? So that kind of a thing, when you identify in your class diagrams, you have to put that like this. So one good thing about our class diagram discussion is every diagram was explained with how it is implemented as code. That you have to learn. Because I see a lot of people teaching class diagrams, like in a sense, if this guy dies, that guy dies. What is dying? It took so many years to find that out and let you know.